From the Samson Production Studios in the heart of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, it's your News 13.
Brought to you by SSPTV and the Standard Speaker.
So you're sitting there having your breakfast and an SUV comes literally flying into the front of your home. It happened in Schuylkill County this morning. The dangerous drive-in, our top story on News 13 for this Tuesday. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kathy Bazinski. Imagine 7 a.m., you're enjoying your morning coffee, and then an SUV slams into your home. That's what happened to one man in Schuylkill County this morning, and Matthew Petrillo joins me live in the studio to give us the play-by-play. Matthew?
That's right, Kathy. 2 people are injured, one critically, after an SUV slammed into a Butler Township home. And the vehicle didn't just hit the home, it landed inside it after being airborne off Route 61. Neighbors say cars fly down Fountain Spring Road, driving way too fast on a street lined with homes.
Average speed along here is about 80 to 90 miles an hour. It's horrible. And truck traffic after midnight, and they also are going at a high rate of speed. It's terrifying.
So when a car flew into this home, neighbors say they weren't surprised it happened.
They were traveling this way, traveling north, and just went right through there, airborne, wham, right into the house.
Now the car came from the street over into this yard and then through these trees here. You can actually still see the tire marks here. It then flipped over from here all the way until the house. It flipped over this stone wall into the house where Dave was sitting enjoying coffee. The homeowner has been identified as David Culp. He was sitting in his living room enjoying his morning brew when it happened. Now neighbors say Culp should feel lucky he's still alive today.
Dave lived alone. He had a little dog. He often sat right on the front there where the vehicle hit. It's just lucky he wasn't outside at that point. And he's had a streak of bad luck recently. He had 2 motorcycle accidents and a vehicle accident recently. It's just...
Now, police told News 13 the driver was traveling at a high rate of speed, but they're still calculating exactly how fast he was traveling. The driver suffered only minor scrapes and bruises. Meanwhile, Culp is in critical but stable condition. Kathy?
An unbelievable story and definitely a nightmare. Thanks a lot, Matthew. Well, a man from Ashland is in jail tonight after police say he sexually assaulted a woman in a motel room. Police say 49-year-old George Holmes was charged with a number of felony offenses, including sexual assault and involuntary deviant sexual intercourse. State police say it all began when a 29-year-old Pottsville woman called from the Roadway Inn in West Mahanoy Township saying she'd been sexually assaulted by Holmes, who was an acquaintance of hers. When police arrived, the woman was bruised and bleeding. She said Holmes assaulted her when she refused to have sex with him. Holmes is in the Schuylkill County Prison tonight. Well, it's the latest twist in an ongoing story. Banks Township supervisors are now thinking twice before pushing to purchase a municipal building. During a special meeting on Monday, the Banks Township supervisors approved several motions that would cancel their plans to buy the Capriati building, which they plan to use as a municipal building. Supervisors voted 2-0 and will advertise that the ordinance to purchase the building be revoked. They also voted to terminate the agreement of sale with the building's owner and get back the deposit placed on the building. Minority Supervisor Rick Porpiglia did not vote on several of the issues during the meeting because he said he wasn't informed about the plan. Today, he told News 13 that the township can afford the building, but if the township continues to frivolously spend, it won't have funds in the future. Supervisors have been getting plenty of backlash from the community who don't approve the building's purchase.
Do not want the supervisors to buy it because they don't need it and they can't afford it. They're not buying it. The bank pulled the loan, so they can't buy it. And none of the other banks will loan the money. Banks Township used the fire hall for years, free of charge for meetings, and they vote there. If it's good enough for the county to vote, it's good enough for anyone to have a meeting. I called about they don't take my garbage, they don't answer their phones. They're supposed to represent us or work for us. They don't.
Now, during that meeting, supervisors also voted 2-0 to hire a security officer who will attend future township meetings. News 13 tried to get in touch with the supervisors who cast the votes, but they both weren't available for comment. Well, McAdoo's Council is considering a quality of life ordinance that would fight blight, but it first needs more support. The borough recently voted 4-3, and the council says the mayor needs more convincing should it pass.
We're aware, and we checked with many other municipalities and some cities also, and Hazleton, was one. that is trying to push this through now, and some of them are enforcing them. Everyone we talked to has been having really good turnouts with it, so we're going along with it also. What it does is it's basically aiming on a lot of our blighted properties in the borough, not only abandoned buildings, it's people that are also renting or living in these buildings that we have problems with.
Madonchik says the ordinance gives police an easier way to find properties that are not properly maintained. They'll have a final vote on it in September. Still ahead on News 13, we're finally back to some warmer summer temperatures, but of course some showers work their way in. We'll tell you about it in News 13 weather. But first, summer temperatures won't be here forever, and fall means back to school. We'll check out the price of gearing up for classes when News 13 continues. Would more days and longer hours help students learn more? Well, one man running for governor of Pennsylvania thinks so. Yesterday, during his campaign in Hazleton, Democratic candidate for governor John Hanger suggested adding an hour to school days and 20 days to the school year. Several other countries already spend more hours in school, which gives them more time to learn. However, that time could interfere with their other activities. Parents, teachers, and kids weighed in on Hanger's suggestion today.
I tend to agree with him in one aspect. I think kids need more time in school. It's going to be difficult to enforce. It's going to be hard with teachers' unions, so on and so forth. But what the needs of our students is more time. They definitely need more time in the classroom.
If the schools in Pennsylvania are declining in their grades, that adding more hours of the same thing is not going to increase the knowledge of the students. I think you need to look at the efficiency of the hours and make those hours better, not longer. Because if you just add more hours of the same old thing, it's not going to do anything except burn out the kids, and they're really, really not going to like school.
Our young people in society need a better, it's hard for them to get an education, and I feel like longer school hours would drain their brains, and they'd just be bored, and I don't think they'd get anything out of it, really.
Pennsylvania State Education Association doesn't favor lengthening the school day or the school year by state law until local districts reach agreements with their employees, as some districts already have done. Well, that big yellow bus will be winding its way to school sooner than you think. So, are your little ones geared up for back to class? Christina Papa checked out some local stores as parents and kids went back to school shopping.
The countdown for the first day of school starts now. So with the clock ticking, kids are getting pumped for back to school, right?
You don't want to go back, but when you start buying all the stuff, you kind of get excited for it.
Abby Pillow is going to be a sophomore at Marian Catholic. She says shopping for new stuff makes going back to school a little easier.
I always get excited because I'm buying new stuff, so it gets me pretty excited for school.
So what are kids looking to buy this year? Soon to be a freshman in college, Sarah Zarawa is a seasoned back-to-school shopper. She's got some tips for those newbies looking to buy the important stuff.
Definitely lots of notebooks. You don't want to run short on notebooks in the middle of the year. Lots of pens, pencils, everything. You need everything.
But everything can get pretty expensive. That's where Staples service sales manager James Ringelben comes in.
And what they generally try to do is have something fresh and new every week as far as the sales are concerned.
While school supplies are a big part of back-to-school shopping, the perfect first-day outfit is a necessity.
The patterns, the colors, the sparkles that can make a shopping trip that much more difficult for parents. And that's why parents say Hazleton Area School District's dress code helps them buy quicker and cheaper for back to school.
With having the school dress code, it's not so bad, but they still want to be trendy and in style and things like that.
Mom and bargain shopper Stacy Hunsinger tries to do her shopping all in one big trip. She has to get new clothes for her growing girls every year.
We need a lot more stuff, and again, who has the best deals? It really comes down to who's having the better sales and who's having the better deals as to where we go.
Hazleton also asks their students to carry their new supplies in a clear backpack, so these packs won't do. Still, Hazleton area says the kids shouldn't overbuy anyway for the first day of school. All they really need is a pen and some paper. Christina Papa, News 13, Greater Hazleton.
And time now for our regional weather from the National Weather Service. Checking the radar. whole lot of nothing going on, and that will make for sunshine the next day or so and clear nights where we'll be able to get a good look at the clear blue moon next 2 nights. Creative Condition is all about a warm summer day. It's by Kiana Singley, a student at West Hazelton Elementary Middle School, and she drew a summertime meadow with some really big trees. Now let's take a look at News 13 weather from the National Weather Service for Greater Hazelton. For tonight, clear with a low around 62 degrees. For Wednesday, sunny with a beautiful high of 82, mostly cloudy at night with a low around 65. And heading to Schuylkill County for tonight, mostly clear with a low down to 57 degrees. For Wednesday, sunny with a high near 86. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, though, overnight with a low around 65 degrees. Well, traces of the West Nile virus are continuing to spread in our region. Officials detected the deadly virus was near Minersville earlier this month, and now municipalities are bracing to fight against it. Matthew Petrillo has more.
In 2012, the West Nile virus was detected in Schuylkill County, but back then traces of it showed up in June. This year, it only recently showed up, and officials say that's not a sign of it weakening.
We believe that we had that chill in late May, and that caused a lot of them to die off. But now we are heating up again. We had that July heat wave for about 6 or 7 days, and rain, water builds up, mosquitoes can breed. They like to breed in areas of standing water. So now we believe, since we're getting into the end of the summer, the hot part of summer, that's why they're picking up.
The Department of Environmental Protection says it's not easy finding the virus.
Well, we set traps with surveillance, and we found mosquito positives for West Nile virus, 4 of them in the Schuylkill County area yesterday, throughout the week, really. And they did test positive for West Nile, so we continue to do surveillance and monitoring in that area.
And while people have a slim chance of getting bit by the bug, if you do, it could kill you or just cause irritability.
Headache, fever, nausea, diarrhea. We encourage you to go to your doctor right away. So you want to protect yourself, especially now from West Nile virus. As we've been telling people during this time, especially late August, that you want to protect yourself. Above all, get rid of standing water. Old tires, pool, bird baths, bucket. Just get rid of the standing water, because that's where mosquitoes like to breed. Wear bug spray. One that has a DEET in it if you're not allergic to it. It's essential that you put on bug spray when you're out practicing or walking or just enjoying time by a lake.
And she says she knows it's hot outside, but wearing long sleeve pants and shirts and a hat and sunglasses are a good idea to make sure you're fully protected from being bit, especially if you're near a river or a lake. Matthew Petrillo, News 13.
And let's check the winning midday lottery numbers. Good luck if you play the daily. 152, Big 4, 6877. The Quinto, 57640. And the Treasure Hunt, 13, 14, 20, 24, 30. Hope you won.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. First tonight, the Life Group at Cunningham United Methodist Church will start up again Monday, September 16th at 10 a.m. The study will be He Speaks to Me, Preparing to Hear from God. The session will run for 7 weeks. Cunningham United Methodist Church is located on Main Street, and you don't have to be a member to participate. For more info, please call 788-3960. And one final announcement, the Mock Chunk Opera House will be hosting the following upcoming events. September 20th, Dancing Machine. September 21st, Splintered Sunlight. September 27th, Bill Kirshen and Texacali. And finally, September 28th, Soft Parade. The Mock Chunk Opera House is located in Jim Thorpe, and for more info, please call 570-325-0249 or check out mockchunkoperahouse.com. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Jeannie Mauser, formerly of Hazelton. Funeral is Friday at 9 a.m. from the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. Friends may call Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. Joseph Fedzuga of Hazelton. Funeral is Thursday at 10 a.m. at the St. Mary's Byzantine Catholic Church. Friends may call at the church from 9:30 to 10 a.m. The Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Mary T. Lamoureux of Freeland. Memorial service will be held at a later date from the Furo Funeral Home. Mary Homovich of Gerardville. The Nice Heart Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. John R. Havrilla of Coral Gables, Florida. No services were announced. And Linda Kuiper Quinn of Hazelton. Arrangements will be announced by the Lehman Family Funeral Service. Tonight's obituaries have been brought to you by the Smilax Floral Shop located on 15th Street in Hazelton. For delivery to all local funeral homes, call 570-454-0111. And and also by Doves of White, serving Schuylkill and surrounding counties. Call 570-205-1597.
SSPTV Sports on News 13.
Well, the preseason has given some teams different looks at different positions. Right now, the Eagles are in a quarterback battle that may have Chip Kelly losing some hair, but maybe not according to a report. USA Today claims that Mike Vick will be the starter for the Eagles on opening night. Now, Vick in his second game against Carolina had a decent night despite throwing a pick. Vick completed 9 of 10 passes in his team's win over the Panthers. Now, some other side notes from the Eagles camp, and it comes out of the other side of the ball. Despite the Eagles being lackluster over the past few seasons on defense, starting safety Patrick Chung thinks there will be a turnaround, and he's not afraid to talk about it. Chung thinks this defense is quote-unquote clicking, and he thinks they'll be ready to roll for their opener. Chung is coming off a 3-year, $10 million contract signing with the Birds. Some notable scores going around the diamond in Syracuse where the Chiefs defeated the Indianapolis Indians 6-2. Russ Kanzler got the night off. The Rail Riders were defeated 8-2 by the Iron Pigs. Moving right along to the MLB, the Pirates were able to come out of San Diego with a 3-1 win. The Rockies were unsuccessful in getting a victory against the Phillies 5-4, and Joe Maddon and his Rays getting the W against the Orioles. You probably want to know what's going on in the world of sports today, so we got it here for you. Starting with the MLB, the Yankees looking for a playoff push take on the Blue Jays in what will be the second of a day-night doubleheader as Phil Hughes, who has been struggling bad this season, takes on Mark Burrell. It will be interesting to see heading down the stretch if Phil Hughes can try to recover before the season's end. He's at 12 losses, however, already safe of the franchise record 22 defeats in one season set by Jake Lake in 1908. The Phillies and the recently called up Tyler Cloud, who was expected to pitch yesterday in Scranton, takes on the Rockies in Philadelphia. Joe Maddon will have his hands full when the Rays take on the Orioles. Maddon electing to go with Alex Cobb, who's been pretty good this season. He'll be on the hill tonight. Staying on the diamond, however, transitioning to AAA, the Rail Riders are a go tonight against the Iron Pigs. Chase Whitley, your starter, no starter named for the Iron Pigs. Russ Kanzler and his Indians, who are still atop their respective division, are in Syracuse. Some other things around the area to watch for, and it's featured around girls tennis, and it's the perfect weather for such an event. We'll start it off with Hazleton hosting and being matched against Coughlin. Crestwood heads to Hanover to take on the Hawkeyes, and Berwick travels to Tunkhannock to play the Tigers. And just a quick side note, with the MLB looking to expand instant replay that will allow managers to challenge calls they feel aren't right, Rays manager and local Joe Maddon has recently stated, of course he's on board. Maddon mentioned that we are in a new age of technology, while also mentioning he likes flat screen TVs and air conditioning in his 1965 Bel Air. Good for Joe Maddon. Enjoy your Tuesday. That's all I got for sports.
Tonight's sports is brought to you by Mountain Speedway. Here's a look at this weekend's action. It's going to be busy. The racing will begin at 6, so plenty of action this Saturday. Just $10 for grandstand admission. Kids under 10 are free, and if you're active military or a senior, you get a $2 discount. There's the website and the phone numbers. You could call them and get all the information on the excitement of racing down at Mountain Speedway.
And here's what our media partner, The Standard Speaker, is working on for tomorrow's edition. A local car dealership will help raise money toward replacing stolen veterans' grave markers. You can read all about it in the Wednesday edition of The Standard Speaker. Plenty more news and information headed your way on News 13. 2 people seriously injured as an SUV plunges into a family home. That story, much more news when the 13 crew comes right back.